Hello everyone out there on the worldwide website. We are Hack the Dino. This is our gaming cast where we talk about the past, present and future of video game news. I'm history's greatest monster, Ben Rosenthal, and you may notice that tonight we don't have Floppy sitting next to me. Unfortunately, Floppy couldn't be here. He was tragically injured in a skydiving accident while trying to save a flying orphanage full of children from crashing? Anyway, I've got some very special guests to fill in Floppy's big old shoes. You may have heard them amongst the street of Adelaide, just going around stealing people's stuff. I've got nothing. Toy Power Podcast hosts, members, Ben and Trent are joining us on the stools. Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming to the Gaming Cast.
Thank you for having us, Ben.
Great to be here.
I'm very, very sorry about
Ben
my
squared, isn't it?
It is. It's. We're going to have a duel later on to see who the ultimate Ben is, and the loser has to. I don't know.
Shave his head.
Yes, yes. The loser has to shave his head.
Yeah.
Trent and Anto get to be the judges.
And Anto's here as well. Hi, Anto.
Hello, everyone. How are we?
So, gentlemen, before we get into it, do you want to sort of go through what exactly Toy Power Podcast is and who you are, what you're doing, and where my pants are?
Right, so Toy Power...
I can't answer the pants.
No. So Toy Power Podcast, we are an Adelaide-based podcast, just like Hack the Dino, and we started over 5 years ago, 4-crew team, and we've been going for about 200 and... I think we're almost up to 270 episodes or so, 265.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We had the tagline, Nostalgia Lives Here, so it's a lot about... getting back to the feels of what made you feel really good when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Do you still use that tagline?
I don't know.
A little bit.
Yeah,
a lot of it's based on nostalgia, simpler times. We're massive. The coolest thing about us is we all found a mutual passion for the same toy lines. So Transformers, Master Universe, Ninja Turtles, all those sort of lines that came out in the 80s, early 90s and things. And we just, everything in between. And we've branched out into some of the smaller lines and things. And we just, talk about that and news and everything and retrospective and movies and things. We don't just keep it on toys. It's a wonderful time to be a toy collector or a fan of anything really, with all the Marvel Universe movies and things doing so well. So it's a good time to be alive, to be honest.
So the thing that really gets me about the whole Marvel resurgence is specifically, I was a big comic fan. I still am. And going back 15, 20 years ago, if you told me, Hawkeye's cool now, I would have laughed in your face.
Yep.
No, Captain America and Iron Man are really going to be multi-billion-dollar franchises.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Because they were losers. They were the biggest losers in comics, and it was all about X-Men, and it was all about Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, the fact that Aquaman has a decent movie and a decent person playing him is quite...
One of those statements is correct.
It's quite eye-opening. I never thought I'd see that day, so that's interesting enough.
Now, we're going to go into this a little bit later on, but what specifically do you guys collect? Because the viewers may not know, but I've been to the toy rooms of both the gentlemen sitting either side of me, and my goodness, it is like, imagine the coolest toy room you could ever imagine thinking of. That's them. That's what it is. You've got, I think the best way to describe it is, Trent, yours is very much mint on card, still in packaging. Whereas Ben, you're primarily off card and more of a figure and actually play with it and enjoy the figures. So yeah, just describe your collection very, very quickly, and we will get back into it later on in the show.
Well, for me, it's very accurate, Ben. I do like the carded figures. I feel like a lot of that artwork and the graphics, even on the lettering, it's just so nostalgic and just looks amazing. So I try to keep that into the collection where I can. But I think it's sort of what I don't collect is really a big part of my collection. It's trying to be a showcase of the 80s and early 90s. But, I think equally, and modern toys are impossible to keep track of, but equally it progresses throughout the 2000s up to 2022 with upcoming toy lines, etc. So it is very much trying to be a toy museum and trying to showcase all the sorts of things, at least have something from all the different toy companies, all the different toy lines of that era.
I have to admit, like, it's crazy. And when you said, "Oh, it's what I don't collect that's interesting," there's something you don't collect.
I couldn't think of any. None sprung to mind from that era. Like, probably, I don't have a very large My Little Pony collection, and Barbie's pretty limited, Strawberry Shortcake, that sort of thing.
Yep.
But most of the boys' toy lines are covered.
Definitely.
Especially
definitely.
Dino Riders.
Yeah.
I'm still insanely jealous of your Dino Rider. Do you have all of Series 1 boxed yet?
I've got all of Dino Riders boxed.
You've even got Series 3.
Yeah, I've got all of Series 3 boxed
See,
and loose.
I've only... And loose. That's just greedy.
I know. Sorry.
I only found out recently that the reason Series 3 is so rare is because the toy line was failing after Series 2, so they shipped them all of Series 3 to here and to Greece. Is that correct?
I think that's accurate. Like, they got a very limited US run, if any, and they certainly did appear here. So I've got some Series 3 that still have the Venture and Toy World, I think. So they definitely came here. $10 for the Quetzalcoatlus Series 3. And
What?
I think you wouldn't get one for under a couple of grand nowadays, box.
No
Boxed? No, absolutely
Yeah.
not.
Not even loose. $1,000. You'll be all his parts and stuff. It's very difficult to find these days.
That is nutty and insane, and there goes my hopes of ever owning any more than what I have already. But Ben, you are more of a off-card collector.
Yeah, definitely.
What made you do that?
Affordability.
Yep,
You know,
good.
I'm a very amateur photographer as well. I like to set up my collection and take photos and things of it. Also, space is a big issue as a toy collector, so I like to have as much on the shelf as possible. Some of the offshoot brands that I collect, aside from Masters and Ninja Turtles and Transformers and things, like big passionate fan of Battle Beasts and things. Love the Sectors. Huge fan of Alien and Predator. Got into them a long time ago. I've got a small collection of Dino Riders, but because they're so darn expensive, I only collect the villains and things. The collection just sort of spirals from there. I also love knockoff Masters of the Universe lines. Like I don't have any Conan, but I love the Warlords figures and the what are they called? Not monsters. I'm getting a blank now. Anyway, the Skullman and things, Beast Warriors and stuff. Love them, and just all the wacky variants and things that you can find, and that keeps me active and my wallet dry. So yeah,
we all had a friend that got us one of those He-Man knockoffs for birthday, or one would appear in your Christmas stocking. You'd be like, this isn't what I wanted. But now there's a certain charm, and we had Chris Fresh and Mitch, Dirty Uncle Mitch from the Geek Dudes, come and pay us a visit a couple of weekends ago. And Mitch was going through your collection, Ben, and he was like, oh, you know what? I could leave all these He-Man figures and just go for these knockoffs, because they're the ones I had as a kid and I remember them. So it's interesting how that comes back around, the ones that were derided back in the day and now the hot properties.
It even expands to video games as well. I know with my collection, a majority of the Nintendo stuff is stuff I had as a kid or wanted as a kid. So I've just completed my NES desirable for whatever reason. I think it's because it was on the back of the box. They had the NES, then they had the 4-score, which enables you to have 4 controllers or 4 players playing a game, and I think it was only 2 games that used it. Then they had a joystick, like an old arcade stick, and then I think that was the Ni 5 or something like that, and then another sort of off-market official third-party controller stick. And I finally finished that the other week, and no other reason than I had it. I wanted it as a kid. I've got
100%.
vivid memories of walking into a Kmart and just looking at the wall with all that Game Boy logo down the side of the box, much like you were saying, Trent, and just seeing that and going, "Oh, I need that." Like at the toy fair the other week, I think I bought a battery pack for the Game Boy because it was in that collection that I saw as a kid in the shop, and then I had the logo down the side, and it was pink and purple. I went, "Yep, $20, easy, done."
Well, there's something that I sort of collect that Trent's a big mint on card, and I absolutely respect that. But I collect a bit of Master Universe merch and things, and I never forget one of the best things I picked up at the fair, and this is big thanks to King Kaiju. He found me a She-Ra toothbrush, still carded, still in its packet.
That. I think
and
he found that while we were over in Japan, actually.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And he gave that to me on the fair, and I was doing cartwheels. Like, that was hands down of all the items I picked up that day. That was by far the coolest and most unique item of my collection.
You go to any toy fair or flea market or anything like that, and you're going to see some sort of He-Man figure, right? You're going to see that 9 times out of 10, that stuff's out there, right? But to see a thermos, the lunchbox or a thermos or a toothbrush, that's the sort of stuff that you might not have seen in 10 years. And that's exciting to see, to come across.
Yep.
We're going to talk about your personal collections a little bit later on. But we will be talking about video games because this is still a video game show. And we all like video games here. We all like partaking in killing time with pixels or polygons. Depends how old you are. Not as old as me. Doesn't matter. Anyway, Anto.
Hello.
Now that you've remembered to press record, what have you been...
Don't judge me. I've been dealing with stuff behind the scenes that you have no idea about.
That's all right. We can get it off the Twitch VOD. You've been playing something rather special.
I have. We were fortunate enough to get given a early access code for Multiverses. I think it's DC, Warner Brothers, and a whole bunch of other licensed properties chucked together in a Smash Bros-like platform fighter. Haven't put a huge amount of time into it, but the half an hour or so that I did get to play on stream today, fantastically good fun.
And you're a big Smash Brothers player as well, aren't you?
Yes, very much so. I think last time I checked, I'd put close to 2,400 hours into Smash.
Oh, wow.
Remind me never to play you, Anto.
Yeah. Who's your favourite character?
That's a tough one to answer. I'm a huge Final Fantasy nerd.
Yep.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yep.
Is a big thing.
Nice.
For me.
Yep.
So I've been flitting between
So all the
Sonic
losers.
and Cloud recently.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Cloud probably just about ekes out the top spot just because he's probably my favorite video game character.
Cool.
But yeah.
Is there one that's just got a good power set that is hard to beat?
Luigi's pretty much a nightmare in Smash Brothers.
Right.
If someone really knows how to play Luigi, you can die in 4 seconds.
Why? He's
He's
rubbish.
just really good.
But he's the worst character ever invented.
Yeah.
Only losers play Luigi.
I reckon Samus has been down-powered in the latest iteration. I think on the Wii U and things, she was really, really good and really powerful.
I could almost hear the internet jumping on you.
Quick reverse.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. Like, Samus and Dark Samus both have a very similar power set. I think Dark Samus is a teeny bit better.
Okay.
But they're not great as, they used to be really strong, or Samus by herself rather used to be very strong in Melee. Smash 3DS and Wii U, they were also really good. I didn't play a huge amount of Brawl.
Yep.
No,
But
missed
yeah.
out. Brawl was the Wii U. The Wii?
Brawl was on the Wii. That was where Sonic and Snake got put in the first time.
That's right. That was cool. That's the Subspace Emissary. Yeah.
Yep.
That was really cool. Best Sonic introduction in a game there.
Agreed.
Anyway, that's cool. I have not been playing a lot of games. I played Switch Sports. It's Wii Sports.
Yep.
It's exactly what it is, just without some of the cool games. Bowling's still there, so that's all I care about. Because my thing where you go 1, 2, and flick the wrist, get a strike every time. Almost every time. But this has got online connectivity. And the worst thing about these types of games playing online is there are freaks out there who do nothing but play these games and you have no chance of defeating them. And they've done something really cool with the bowling in that to play online, you have, I think, 4 levels. So you get the first 3 sets, the second 3 sets, the third 3 sets, and then the last 10. But there's a cutoff. So only the top 8 go through, and then the top 4 go through, and then the top 3.
Okay.
So if you're not up to par, game over.
Wow.
Bye-bye, see you later. But you can, each time you do a sport, you get a set of points depending on how you performed. And then those points, once you reach 100, you get to choose a random item on a board. It's a cosmetic item.
Okay.
Yeah, so they've added nice little things. I think later in the year they've got golf coming,
Right.
but they took out boxing,
Okay.
which is one of the cool ones, and put like sword fighting in there, and
Tennis.
tennis is in there. Yep, that's still the same. They've got volleyball in there, and some other one that I can't remember at the moment. But yeah, it's not. It's more of the same.
Baseball was one of the core ones as well.
That's
the
right.
original.
Baseball's not in there. But again, they've said there's going to be DLC. So I assume that they'll put it out either paid download or they'll just give it to us. I hope they just give it to us because $60, man.
I'm hoping it's going to be similar to what they did with Mario Tennis Aces and the most recent Hot Shots Golf that they put out, where the DLC will be like periodically released, but it will be free.
Yeah.
Nintendo seem to like doing that to stuff that isn't Smash Brothers and requires heavy licensing fees because of characters like Sora and Cloud and Sephiroth.
Well, I can actually see them, the Nintendo Switch Online that they've got the Plus, so with all the games and the DLC, I can actually see them giving it to those people. So if you pay for the online, the additional online service, you get all those Switch Sports for free. Otherwise, you've got to pay for them, which I think's fair.
Yeah, I think that would be a good way to do it as well. They've done similar with Animal Crossing. The Mario Kart expansion courses have just been added to Switch Online expansion as well. So that might be what they do with all their first-party stuff going forwards.
Cool.
Now, gentlemen, are either of you big video game players at all?
You go first.
Oh, look, I loved video games as a kid, and I think I've fallen into that trap as an adult, where there's just not a lot of time to game. So I grew up non-console. I grew up with a PC.
Oh.
So I was always very envious and jealous of the NESs and the Super NESs, and obviously played those at friends' houses, but was never allowed to get one until I bought my own Nintendo 64 and played that a lot. So yeah, big into gaming, but as a result, I played a lot of PC games, which were kind of like the uncool games, but there were some exceptions to that.
There were some gems on there, like shareware. I have such fond memories of freeware and shareware.
Yep.
Where like you'd get a disc in the mail and it had like 100 free demo games on there.
Yeah,
and then these were the days where you'd finish the demo. It says, just put $5 in an envelope and send it to this address, and we'll send you the whole game.
Yeah.
Like Doom was there, but then you could get cracks. Like when the internet first came around, people were sending out cracks so you could crack them as well. Can I ask you, was it 386, 486, Pentium 1?
I had all of them. So I think we started with a 286.
Ooh.
Because my dad was a university lecturer, so he would bring home these computers. But the big one I remember was the 486 with CD-ROM.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it came, I remember unpacking it, the big CRT screen, and it came with a game by Activision called Return to Zork. And that set me off on a whole action-adventure gaming pathway. So into the LucasArts, Full Throttle, and Day of the Tentacle, and all that sort of stuff. And recently had gone back in and downloaded updated versions of those games and replayed all those. But in terms of modern gaming, we haven't been lucky enough to snag a PS5 yet. But we've got the Switch, we've got the PS4, and my son's put me onto Fortnite. So in the last month, I've just been cracking through some Fortnite and doing the duos, doing the trios with my 6-year-old, who is a bit of a liability. But it's so funny because we're both knocked, right? And so my 9-year-old and I are knocked. The 6-year-old's got like an enemy that's just lined up in his sights. And he won't take the shot. And we're just like, shoot him! You've got him in the head! And he's like, nope. And he goes and hides in a bin. And it's just hilarious, just so painful. But yeah, we did actually win a trios with him.
Oh,
so
nice.
that's for all the hundreds of games we played, we got some payoff.
Anton and I quite often jump on there. And every once in a while when Floppy's free, he comes on as well. But it just ends up me trolling them as much as I can for my own amusement, whether we're streaming or not. Streaming, I bump it up a level. If not, it's just for my own entertainment. I think my favorite thing to do is like get in a car and go, right, everyone get in a car. And then when Floppy's trying to get in, I'll just go forward a
See you
little
later.
bit. And then we'll try and catch up and I'll go forward a little bit.
Yeah, it's like 9 times out of 10, we'll play together. Ben will run off and do something by himself and either survive while Floppy and I are being attacked, or he'll die. Floppy and I will go to rescue him. Floppy will die.
Yep.
I hold my own for 10 seconds, then I die. And then the next game starts again, and it just repeats.
Yep.
With increasing levels of Ben doing things that are more I don't want to say not helpful,
You can. It's fine.
but more annoying than anything else.
You mean I specifically do stuff to annoy you guys for my own entertainment?
Yeah, it's kind of not the point, right?
Sure it is. Sure it is. Anyway, so on the PC side of things, big Wolfenstein fan?
I loved Wolfenstein. Yes, big fan. But I remember getting up to the robotic Hitler at the end.
Yep.
But it was very, linear in the sense, and Doom blew my mind when that came out because, you had elevators, you had a lot more texturing.
You could jump.
You could jump, you could shoot upwards. The monsters would genuinely freak you out when they'd come out of the dark and fire those fireballs or whatever. So loved Wolfenstein, but to me, Doom raised it to the next level.
I never forget. I was at school one day because I was a PC gamer as well. That's what we had in our house, and played Wolfenstein nonstop. And I went to school one day, and someone said, "There's this new game called Doom, and you can shoot the wall." I'm like, "Oh, you can shoot the wall in Wolfenstein, but when you shoot the wall, there's a bullet hole." And my little head just went boom. Like that was just, I could not compute that. When you shoot a barrel, it explodes, and I was on the ground. Like I couldn't believe.
But
that.
it would just eviscerate the monster that was standing next to it. It would just turn him into this goo.
Yeah.
And
I was a Duke Nukem fan back before it was 3D. I was the 2D platformer. That was my Duke Nukem, and then everyone's saying, "Oh, there's this new 3D version." And it's like, that's not my Duke Nukem. Like,
no, but then you saw boobs and everything.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember Commander Keen?
Yes, big fan of Commander Keen. Played that a lot. Yeah.
Do you remember? And maybe you might remember, but on the little Amstrads that we used to get in our schools, Granny's Garden.
Yes. We had that on the Commodore 64.
Yeah, I think it was on a couple of things.
Was it on the Amstrad? It might have been an Amstrad, but it was in the computer pool in primary school. And there was I don't know if it was a cheat, but there was this way you could skip ahead or something.
There was a passcode. So you had to get through one round and you got a passcode. And I was telling Anto this story earlier. I was in my class, the first one to get through and get that password. So I sold the password to whoever asked it for 50 cents.
Yeah.
And then went to the canteen and bought lollies.
Yeah.
Because it was great.
Industrious young man.
Battle chess was a big thing for me.
I've got my version of Battle Chess there. I don't have anything to run it on. But I had Battle Chess.
There was that Monty Python reference where just chops the arms and then the legs and he tries to kick him and it's like, bye-bye.
Yeah.
And he's just a body.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a really awkward port of Battle Chess that had Star Wars characters in, and it took an age for the animations to play out?
Yes, because it was a very poor port. Yeah. Yep, there was. Yeah. Ben, what about you? What did you grow up with?
Same deal. My first sort of console was one of those ones where you've got the joystick and you turn it. It's like Pong, just playing Pong on the Commodore 64 or something like that. And then PC gamer through and through. And looking back now, I was so. It was really cool to be the PC gamer person because everyone looked at me and my brother to come around and play games but we would go around to their houses and play NES and Super NES, because we never had one. So exactly the same as Trent, my first console was a Nintendo 64. My brother and I saved up and bought that, and Mario just blew our minds, and Mario Kart and everything. That was amazing. And sort of since then, I've had every Nintendo console created. Even had the Game Boy and things, a lot of Tetris and stuff. Played on that. I even went through the Wii U, what was the other Wii before the Switch. We had one of them anyway. So we've had all them. But now my family's got 3 Switches and I'm the one that doesn't have one. So I sort of put my hand up and said, look, I love my gaming and things, but I was just buying games because, it's cool. A new Alien vs. Predator game. Play the first level and then never find time to play it again.
Real gamer.
Yeah. So I think it was last year, I had a couple of weeks off of work and without any, going away or anything, just odd jobs around the house. So my little treat for myself was Tony Hawk's 4, I think it was,
nice.
The retro version, and playing all those levels back again and stuff. That was amazing and really, really fun just to kill 2 weeks and do some stuff around the house. And yeah, so that's sort of my mindset of gaming these days is retro stuff, and I leave the Switch. I still play a bit of family Mario Kart and stuff. I'm still unbeatable in the house, but we'll see how long
Sounds like a challenge.
that long lasts for. So
I was, but my daughter recently, she's 14 now, and she whoops me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a nice moment when your child beats you with a childhood video game. Also, soul crushing.
Yeah.
But I'm also very lucky. She cannot play Super Nintendo games because the graphics hurt her eyes.
Right.
And I have to berate her and ground her for saying such awful things.
Yeah.
We're going to go into a quick roundup of the latest video game news. Firstly, our news bites, where we just give a quick spouting of words, sure, and react accordingly. So an analyst predicts that a new Nintendo console will be out in 2024. What do we think about that? The Switch is almost 6 years old. Anto, 6 or 5 years?
It came out in 2017, so this is its 5th year.
So we're going into the 6th year. It'd be in its 6th year because it came out in March, right?
March 2017.
Yep. So a new console. What do you think? We're gonna get a hybrid like the Switch, or are they gonna split them apart again?
I think they would be daft to not continue the momentum of having a hybrid home and portable console.
100%.
That's brilliant.
That's the game changer, I think. That's why Nintendo have kept going, because of this Game Boy-esque unit that you're able to port anywhere, play, on the couch when someone else is watching the TV or something. I think it's revolutionary. Mm-hmm. And if they try to go back to the standard plug in and play on only your TV, they'll lose. They're only going backwards.
I think it's hard to compete, isn't it, with the big ones if you don't have that functionality. I mean, Nintendo's got a charm with the games that I think will always appeal to a niche audience, but I think Xbox, PlayStation, that it's the differentiator that they need.
Yeah, I think as well as it being totally different to any other offering, like you can play some stuff on PlayStation and Xbox remotely through xCloud or PlayStation Remote Play or whatever, but it's not, especially in Australia, it's definitely not there yet infrastructure-wise. And I think because they've carved out this particular portion of a market, they'd be silly to let it go by trying to rejoin the big boys, as it were.
I don't think they'll ever rejoin the big boys.
They ever will.
They are, as I've said numerous times, Nintendo are quite happy being that second system. So a majority of people will get their Xbox Series or their PS5 when they can finally find one, and the Switch will be either for the kids or be that secondary console that they take with them, because they had a stranglehold on the handheld market for years and years and years. No one could come near them, and plenty did try, including the Game.com. Anyway, they're quite happy being in that second console, and they're going to sell more consoles because of that. I mean, personally, I think I've bought 6 Switches altogether. So, not all for me. They were gifts. One of them was a gift.
One of them's on your shelf, not being used, never been opened.
Which one?
The Sword and Shield Switch Lite that's up on the top.
No, that's Jasmine's.
Oh, well, that's fine then. But
it's never been used. She bought Aladdin and played that. Speaking of Aladdin, Robocop's not in it, but he is in Fortnite. Mm-hmm. So I thought I'd throw this little snippet in because, as children of the 80s, Robocop's pretty damn cool.
I'd buy that for $1.
Yep. But it's going to cost you more than $1, isn't it?
$15 to buy a digital skin. Yeah. And people complain about NFTs.
But you get a little ED209 that you can
ride really? Around. Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
And that's cool.
What do you think, I'll throw to either Ben, R-rated movies being then ported into kids' games. We've seen it with things like Toxic Avenger turned into a toy line and a cartoon.
I think it's
is that okay?
No,
I think it's cool.
We've grown up with R-rated toys since the get-go. Like Conan was a big toy line from Remco. Like it's always been there. My Aliens and Predator from Kenner. They were R-rated films that I only dreamed about seeing, and that's sort of why I'm a big passionate horror fan, because I just fell in love with these horror-esque figures. It's just the evolutionary step that you can play them now in fighting games and things. It's only a matter of time before they port to Fortnite and things. I think it's great. I love it, and there's plenty of mature players out there to utilize these things.
And even if you're not, he looks cool, right?
Exactly. And I'm sure it's the people that hold the rights are only more than willing to sell the rights and skin to the people, because it's only building brand acknowledgement. And then all of a sudden, when Robocop comes out in 2025, everyone then knows who Robocop is and hasn't forgotten about him.
Well, that famous meme where they've got someone going, oh my god, it's the guy from Fortnite, and it's like one of the Star Wars characters,
right? Yes.
And the father's like in a rage.
Yeah.
Antonio, what do you think?
I think there's been some interesting points raised, like there's, without going into too much of a rant about capitalism and how it's awful and we're in late stage and we're all going to die, it's,
these are real tears, man.
We've hit this point where, as you say, companies are, they're willing to license out these characters to not only build, brand engagement or recognition so they can put out future products and make more money. It's also capitalizing on nostalgia for people like the four of us who, probably grew up watching these things as a kid and playing with these action figures as kids, who will go, oh yeah, Fortnite's got some cool characters now. Maybe I'll give it a go and connect my credit card to the account. And, ultimately it's all about money at the end of the day, but the most important thing is, are you getting enjoyment out of playing it?
Yes, and I do when I make Floppy run after the car. And lastly,
Green Goblin.
I don't know if you can quickly find the video for this, Anto. I didn't actually supply it, but there is a game called Dead by Daylight.
Ooh, I know which one you're about to bring up.
And they've announced a Dead by Daylight dating sim. Now, do we know what a dating sim is, Ben and Trent?
I've got a vague idea of what it is.
What's your vague idea?
That you simulate being a single person looking for a date.
Leisure Suit Larry.
Right.
Very.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it online? Like you're playing with other...
No.
Okay,
So it is
simulate.
basically a visual novel. Think of it as a choose-your-own-adventure type deal. But Dead by Daylight is a horror game filled with big, burly monsters. So they brought out... You can try and date the monsters and take them on romantic interludes, such as the Trapper, as we can see on scene here. The Huntress, they're all big, burly people and just wanting to wrap their biceps around you and give you a big old smooch'em. I never played Dead by Daylight. I'm going to play this.
Hooked on you. There you go.
In actual news now, have you heard about the new PlayStation Plus bonuses or premium and deluxe packages?
They've changed it, haven't they?
They are about to change it. So
yeah.
basically, they still have you pay $15 a month and you get online and 4 games a month to play for as long as you pay the fee or subscribe to it. However, they have recently announced a premium and deluxe plan where you can get more PlayStation games or older PS1 and PS2 games. Can't get PS3 here because they can only stream PS3 games, and Australia being Australia has very horrible streaming.
Right.
So they've announced on the PlayStation blog, you can go there for the full list, but these are a couple of the 62 games announced so far that are going to be coming to the premium level. They include Ghost of Tsushima's Director's Cut, which is an excellent, beautiful, wonderful game. God of War, Spider-Man and Miles Morales, Last of Us and Uncharted games, Hollow Knight by Adelaide's own Team Cherry, Far Cry 3 and 4, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Final Fantasy 15 and Mortal Kombat 11, which I think most people get already. Anto, am I correct in that? Mortal Kombat 11 is already part of the Plus program?
11's not. Mortal Kombat X is.
X.
Which 10X,
10,
whatever.
Yeah.
I think the ones that are in there already... Final Fantasy 15 is part of the current PlayStation Plus collection on PS5, but it's not available to PS4 owners. God of War is there as well, and I think one of the Uncharted games is, but not all of them.
Right.
But yeah, other than that, it's a pretty solid upgrade if you take into account the other about 52 games that are on the list.
And then you've got classic games. They've announced 10 so far, which I was actually quite disappointed in. But 10 so far, including Ape Escape, Siphon Filter, and Tekken 2. A monthly refresh will occur on the first Tuesday of each month for the PlayStation Essentials plan and higher tiers, with new PS4 and PS games added to the service then. These launches start on May 24 in Asia, followed by Japan on June 2nd, North and South America on June 13, and finally Europe, Australia, and New Zealand on June 23. The question I have to ask is, Anto, will you be upgrading or are you going to stick to the base plan?
I will be doing it.
Really?
I will be upgrading. Because, in my opinion, it's worth it just for Ape Escape 1 alone.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Ape Escape was one of the games I played sort of a brief amount of when I was maybe 10 years old. Never finished it, because it's one of those games that I picked up, played, didn't really understand, but loved the aesthetic controls and just general feel of the game. Like, by today's standards, it's a clunky, awkward, polygonal mess, but Final Fantasy VII is my favourite game, and so is that, so...
Ape Escape originally was an arcade game, wasn't it?
I don't think so. It may very well have been, but I don't know if it had an arcade port prior to PlayStation.
Go and have a look, see if I'm right.
Let me do some Google.
Now, neither of you have got PS5s at the moment? Are you in the PS4? Or?
Yeah, PS4, yep. We've got one.
Do you have the PlayStation Plus at the moment?
I've got it. Mm-hmm. And look, it's tempting when it's just time. Like, I've got 4 streaming services, 2 consoles. I just don't have the time probably to give those games, let alone the games in my collection, a good run through. So I just buy me some time and I'm in on that. Sure.
And Ben, you don't have it.
No. I just don't play online. I'm a very materialistic person. I like to put my game in, play it, and log out. I don't have any need to play online. No,
you shouldn't do that. You corrode
games. All right, there you go.
Yeah. Bollocks.
Yeah,
bollocks. Because I did it the other day.
It was not an arcade release.
No.
Anything I can find just says that it was first released on PlayStation 1 in. Weirdly enough, America first in May 31st, 1999. But yeah.
Crazy. Something that you may have played. Have you heard of a game called Goldeneye?
Yes.
Played it a lot
quite a bit, yes.
Quite a bit. Have you played it recently?
No.
It's a goddamn mess.
Yeah.
It's not a fun time.
Yeah. Well, you imagine, I mean, we are now living in the era of the,
online.
Oh, but the screen size,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, you've got screens that are, 72 centimeters would be
actually,
like small.
Funny you say that. We used to have, sort of what we called posse nights, where we'd have a group of lads stay over, and we'd stay up to 4 a.m. playing Goldeneye and Mario Kart and all those wacky games. And we'd have a projector on the wall.
Wow.
Yes.
So we'd clear an area of the room, projector on the wall, and that way everyone could sort of properly see where they're doing and things, and it just made the night go longer.
Yeah.
We just, we'd set all, landmine, proximity mines and things, put it on paintball, and see who could last the longest, survive. With no real, tactics or anything, just a room full of proximity mines,
When doing that, did you screen snipe? Did you look at the other players to work out where they are?
Of course, and there were cheats and things where you could get back up into the up above the toilet block thing there, into the ducts and stuff, and it was nightmarish.
So what if I told you that the Computer History Museum in the UK has spent $16,000 Australian to split up Goldeneye over 4 separate screens?
Money well spent.
Multiplayer.
Yeah, that's a fantastic achievement, because you need that, don't you?
But
you need to be able to.
For 16K?
Yeah.
So they said it's a bit of a kludge to do it. We've got these scalers and bits of equipment there, video distribution. There's about $8,000 worth of kit there just to make this work, but it's a bit of fun and it stops anybody from screen cheating.
There you go.
Which is awful. I used to love it. I also used to play as Oddjob, so I was the ultimate cheater.
Yeah.
And you memorized all the spawn points and just threw proximity mines everywhere, because that's the kind of guy you are.
Who else did that?
No, I don't think I memorized them well enough. But
especially in the facility.
Yep.
I used to memorize all the spawn points, get proximity mines, and just run around to each of the spawn points and put proximity mines up where the spawn is. So they come in and go, ba-da-ba-da, then spawn somewhere, ba-da-ba-da. Yeah, I'm not a nice person.
So I don't know if it's... Admitting this is probably going to get a punch from Ben in a minute, but I don't know why split-screen multiplayer throughout my entire life has never been an issue, because I look at the whole screen when I'm playing a split-screen video game.
Really?
Like, I've never had to dart my eyes to either corner to look at what other people are doing. I can just pay attention to the whole thing.
You're
And I
some
don't
kind
know
of-
if that's just a me thing or if people around the world.
You
can
sure
do
you
it.
were even playing the right, the right
It was
I mean,
where? Yeah.
definitely
You know, with kids, how we give them controllers and they're not plugged in.
Yeah.
And go, oh yeah, you're doing really well.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely something to be said for my success in certain video games playing it like this, but I was very good at Time Splitters 2 and 3.
All right, so I've pulled a couple of Goldeneye gaming facts, which I
Yeah.
found interesting while I was reading about this. The game's entire multiplayer mode was made in a month as a complete afterthought by programmer Steve Ellis. The management of Rare did not even know they were developing a multiplayer mode until they were shown a complete working product. According to Ellis, since the game was already late by that time, if we hadn't done it that way, it probably never would have happened.
Wow.
Shigeru Miyamoto sent the game's developers a fax with suggestions for the game. So we all know who Shigeru Miyamoto is, Mario's dad. The first suggestion was that there was too much up-close killing, which Miyamoto found to be unbearable. The second was to have the player shake the hands of all the hospitalized enemies at the end of the game.
It's a nice touch.
I want to see that.
Well, I want to see that in the movie and then replicated. Yeah.
I reckon you should be able to get a pillow and just then snuff
Yes.
them out. Final snuff out.
This suggestion from Miyamoto gave the developers the idea of having all the game's characters appear in a curtain call during the end credits, as if portrayed by real actors. This was meant to explain that the game did not involve real killing.
Yep.
There you
That
go.
and the fact, it was clearly polygon people with faces like trying to
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Were there a number of developers that had no experience or very limited experience working on this game?
No, they were all
they
Rare
all were?
employees.
They were?
And
Okay.
Rare at that time had been around for years and years and years and
Right.
years. I think just because it was rushed towards the end. Anto?
Yeah, no, I was just going to chime in with the whole, Rare had been pumping out hit after hit after hit after hit up until GoldenEye launched and even beyond GoldenEye. So it was very much a team of veteran developers who really
Right.
sort of knew their stuff.
Yeah. Battletoads? You ever heard of Battletoads?
Yes. Yeah.
That was Rare.
Infuriating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hardest game in the world. That's
So-
the scooter level, yeah.
Obviously, the sequel to GoldenEye in some way, shape, or form was that was my phone. Was Perfect Dark. How did that rate? Obviously, with a more futuristic, without the whole movie tie-in and all that sort of stuff. Did that do as well, or
People enjoyed it.
Yes.
The multiplayer from memory was better.
yep?
However, me personally, I was a GoldenEye fan. And
course.
when I like something, I sort of just stick to it because
Yeah.
I'm stubborn. But no, it's well known as a cool game.
Yep.
Funnily enough, they're rebooting it at the moment, remaking it for Microsoft. However, the company that is currently doing it, Anto, we talked about this last show. Who got bought out as part of the Square Enix deal?
Eidos Interactive or Eidos?
Not Eidos. It was. Is it Ether? Someone like one of the studios who Square Enix just sold is actually making the Perfect Dark revamp,
Right.
which is
I mean, let's
Crystal
be real,
Dynamics,
the current
maybe.
state of Microsoft development, the game's not going to come out anyway. Look at Starfield.
I just find it fascinating when things are movie tie-in and then they try and replicate that again without a movie tie-in, and to see how they compare, whether they, it's the same momentum or if it dies, or because the same can be held with toys and things like that. I just find it fascinating, and it's a miracle if it, exceeds the movie tie-in, and why is that? That's sort of what I was.
I
yeah.
think where Perfect Dark failed is that it came out towards the end of the life of the 64.
Right.
It was definitely towards the end.
Yep.
But it also required remember the jump pack?
Yes.
So the red jump pack.
Yeah,
that you
the
had to put in?
expansion
The
pack.
expansion pack.
Yes, yep.
It required that to
Yeah.
actually play the game
Yep.
properly,
Right.
and not a lot of people bought that.
We had to get it with Donkey Kong, didn't
Exactly,
you?
and that's a rubbish game. So
Right.
no one bought it.
Yeah. Okay.
I had it.
Guilty.
Why?
I've got it in
You've got my version.
Yes, I got
don't
yours because I had a 64 without the damn expansion pack, and it limited me to play certain games. So anyway, yeah.
Now, I did mention that we were going to talk a little bit about bootlegs because I know that we're all collectors here and we all love a good bootleg. So I've found 10 bootlegs and one very special one at the end. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get Anto to flash it up on screen here. And both of you gentlemen have to firstly describe what you're seeing for the podcast listeners at home and then tell me whether it's good enough to be added to your illustrious collection. So first, Anto, we've got what I've titled Mario of the Universe. Bring it up.
Oh, yeah. That's
So
on the big
awesome.
screen
It's
there,
essentially a He-Man body with a Mario head, packaged in a Masters of the Universe Classics blister card.
That's a
Super
pretty good
Mario.
custom job. Look at that
it's a
printing.
very nice custom.
Yeah.
He's got a little sword as well, yellow sword. No, it's creepy for me. It's a pass.
No, that's not going to end up on the wall.
No.
Ben, what about you?
No, one of my first custom Lego minifigures was a Mario, very poorly done, and but yeah, they're still in the collection, and Luigi. But no, I'd pass on this. It looks a bit, the head is a bit big for the body. It's no, and not classics. That's more vintage style. I'd go for instead of the classics.
A vintage body.
Yeah.
So you like the big chests and the short legs?
I'd prefer, if I was going to collect the Mario in a Master of the Universe format, I'd prefer him fully vintage with the 5 points of articulation. The classics is more 2008 onwards, so I'd want a lot more detail and less, this is sort of more cartoony looking.
Right. Okay, the second one, we're all big fans of Pokemon. We've all played Pokemon. Pokemon's a good thing. We all follow Ash in his journeys. Did you know...
Oh, Jesus.
Did you know that Ash is quite ripped? Anto?
Oh, wow.
Look at that.
That's a six-pack.
So, what do you reckon? Is Ripped Ash good enough to enter the illustrious collection of the Toy Power universe?
Well, I did say I collect... It's what I don't collect that features, and I don't really have any Pokemon. And that's not to say I haven't kept my eye on a few of the nice Bandai items, but I just never pulled the trigger. So I think this is going to continue the trend of not going into the collection.
Pokemon's funny for me because my brother was getting into Pokemon as I was sort of getting out of toys and looking at girls and things like that. So I've never been a big Pokemon fan. It wasn't until sort of Pokemon Go came around and... all of a sudden the resurge of Pokemon came back and my kids are into Pokemon and things, but this one's a bit creepy. No, I'd say a big no thanks. Yeah.
All right.
I do just very quickly want to point out there is a reason that model of Ash is as ripped as he is.
Why's that?
And it's because he regularly carries around Larvitar, which weighs a couple of 100 kilograms.
Why is that the Johto Ash?
Yeah, like he's ripped. He can throw trees and stuff. Like
Really? Johto Ash can throw trees? Is this in canon?
in the TV show, he like picks up trees that have fallen and yeets them at Pokemon. It's nuts.
Tyranitar or Ash?
Ash. Like he literally picks up trees and lifts Pokemon that
You
are
know what?
a couple of 100 kilograms.
I don't think Pokemon's taken the laws of physics seriously.
Me neither, but it's Pokemon. So.
Speaking of Pokemon, this little one I called Pokey Wars. Pokey Wars. Anto, how good are Pokey Wars?
Pretty terrible.
Oh, wow.
Scroll down. There we go.
Oh, Boba Fett. It's Bulbasaur in a Boba Fett outfit. Actually, it's quite cute. They've tried to replicate the Power of the Force 2 packaging, so the 1997-ish re-release of, when Star Wars came back onto the shelves with the special editions. And it's got a beautiful Pikachu where I think we had, what was it? There was like a Darth Vader helmet up there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a Vader helmet.
Yeah, and when episode 1 came out, they put Darth Maul's head up there. But I'm going to have to decline on this one too. It's
my goodness, you're a
it's
tough
a
one to
nice,
crack.
it's a nice figure. Like it's designed beautifully.
Comes with a Pokeball as well.
Yeah.
For me, it's the neck. The neck's too long.
No, see this is my sort of toy.
Oh,
right? I freaking love this thing. I'm not paying inbox prices for it. I'll let you. I'll just I'll crack it and I'll
let it breathe.
Yeah, let it breathe, and I'll put it in and never tell anyone and just wait till they notice it. I really, because it's a beautiful paint app with the Bulbasaur head meeting the same sort of green paneling along the Boba Fett armor. So they've obviously done a bit of thinking involved. It's not just a head slapped on a Boba Fett body. They've actually painted the whole thing, and he looks like he's got sort of beastie feet and things.
Yep.
I think this is awesome. I'm down for it. I want. Yeah.
All right. We know what to get you for your 40th.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. It's coming up quicker than you think.
We will be returning to Pokemon a little bit later on, but next lot of toys to decide whether you think they are worthy bootlegs for the collection or not is one I've just called. It's for you, Anto. As you can see from his very impressed facial features there. Bring up Sanic for me, Anto. Bring it on up on that screen.
Oh.
There we go.
Wow. So it's a bootleg Sonic the Hedgehog 5-pack. And
Look at Sonic's eyes.
don't know. Which one's Sonic? Is he on the left?
On the left,
Far
yeah,
left.
yeah, wow.
Yeah, wow. He looks like
He's
he's
seen some things.
He's tripping on something.
Yeah.
I mean, look, to be honest, like, Tails looks pretty accurate. But the rest, I mean, look at Knuckles. He's got a yellow body. And
They're
it's
just
like a
like-
clown head.
They're almost like the Care Bear cousins. You just don't hear about them, but
Yeah.
here they are, you know?
They're like the Care Bear inbred cousins.
Yeah, yeah.
So bad.
Yeah, this
The
is...
worst part of that picture is just obviously it's clearly terrible. Like they're clearly just a cash grab. But the worst part is this artwork up here and the Tails artwork behind you guys
Yep.
is from Sonic Battle.
Of course, yeah.
This one here, Sonic CD or Sonic 3D Blast, one of those two. Sonic Unleashed.
Yep.
Fan art that someone made.
It's MS Paint.
And this is Sonic Heroes.
Yeah.
So it's just they've picked up Sonic and slapped whatever they can on it.
You're right. That's truly the worst part of that picture.
It is. I would pay money for these figurines.
So that's going in Anto's collection. What about either of you? You're going to pick up
No.
this?
No, pass.
It's rubbish.
I think it's
too poorly done.
$12.50 from the top right-hand corner there.
$12 flat.
$12 flat. Oh, $12.
No, put it towards the Bulbasaur fet.
Well, just put it in your Barracuda Bay piggy bank.
Yep.
$12. It's going to, take you a couple of years, but you'll get there.
Next up, we have Pikachu.
Oh.
So Anto hasn't seen these either.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it's a green Pikachu.
I think it's a Hulk Pikachu.
Right.
It's the mask. It's when Pikachu puts on the mask
Yeah.
from Jim Carrey. You know,
He looks... I don't know if that's the same face impression you'd get with the yellow one, but he really looks sick. Or if they've changed the mouth up to make him look upset. Or...
I just don't understand why he's wearing pants.
I think you might be on the nose
It's
that
Hulk
it's meant
pants.
to be like Hulk Pikachu or like Banner Pikachu.
Yeah.
But they haven't coloured the ears or the hands or the legs. They're yellow.
Yeah.
It's...
Like, if you ever saw a toy that could whisper the words, "Kill me, please."
Yeah, that's what he's saying. He's mouthing them to you right now. This is just horrendous, and it deserves... It should never have been made, to be honest.
No, death by lightning.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we're going to look at some really cool video games. So this one's... this is the actual title. This is called A Wonderful Handheld System.
Wait, no, it's not.
It's not? What's it called?
This is Titanic Legend.
Oh, whoops, I've got the wrong file. Anyway, here's Titanic Legend. So it's a little handheld. Remember the little Tiger handhelds you could get?
Yep.
They actually had rip-offs as well. And this one's about Titanic. What I like is that their eyes are soulless.
It's clearly been designed by a 10-year-old. The art is atrocious, but it's sort of got a redeeming quality. Like it's almost collectible because of that fact.
That's so bad?
That's so bad. And the Titanic is not sinking, so there's hope.
Well, they're happy.
It's not even in the force. It's in the background of the
it's-
image. It's it's sort of background.
Miko.
No, this is no.
Well,
no.
maybe this will change your mind. Anto, if you can just bring that back up. If you scroll down, you can go left or right.
Oh,
Gentlemen.
watch out!
Left
That's a
or
game
right?
changer.
Which one do you want to go?
And you got the captain of the ship on the left.
So this is steering the Titanic away from an iceberg.
I'm pretty sure
wow.
this game is like a 1945 isometric view where you're going left or right to try and not crash into an iceberg. And they've just got a rip-off of Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio. And the captain.
The captain makes a big appearance on the side of the packaging.
I have a feeling, and it's a hunch, I have no proof. I have a feeling this is based off of these really weird bootleg NES and Super Nintendo games that came out, based around the Titanic, but they were really weirdly labeled. Like it was called Titanic, Titenic. And there was a movie where they stole a bunch of Disney assets called The Legend of the Titanic, where Jack and Rose, like the characters that are supposed to be them, both survive and end up getting married at the end. It's weird, man. I would highly recommend when you guys get home, watch JonTron's video on Titanic. It's about 40 minutes long. It's
Your search
awful.
history will never
Yeah.
recover.
So funny.
Next up, we have Dino and Martin. Now, you may not have heard of him, but if you see the picture. Just describe to me. They may look familiar. Dino and Martin. Bring it up, Anto.
Oh, there you go.
It's
Right, it's Yoshi.
battery-operated, super action, musical. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
Bump and go. It actually says bump and go.
I think it says flashing light and rocking Marin on it.
Yeah. Well, so it's Mario riding Yoshi. Now, Yoshi has red eyes that clearly light up. Do the legs look like they kick and that pushes him along?
I think there'd be a wheel underneath, but
yeah.
the legs might motion as it moves. Who knows?
Look, this might be something I would have purchased for my 3-4-year-old as a, like a fun toy. Like it yes, it has he looks like he's having a very good time on there, doesn't he? Particularly in that picture. But it's cute. If it didn't have the red eyes, like you imagine if he had those cartoony eyes,
yes,
that'd be quite a nice piece.
Yeah.
I'd get that not for the collection, but for the 3-year-old.
For the kid lecture.
Yep.
100%. I'm with Trent. I think that's a really wacky thing. And if the kids saw me playing Mario or Smash Brothers or something and wanted to be a part of that, I could buy that for $5 and here you go. You can now play with Mario and
Martin.
Yoshi. Yeah.
I'm Martin.
Speaking as someone who owns a sewing machine Game Boy or Game Boy sewing machine, I'd buy this and keep it in my collection because it's that dumb.
Yeah.
And I love dumb
Yeah.
stuff. It's not official Nintendo. It's clearly a rip-off, but man, how dumb is it?
Yeah.
The only thing it's missing is the ability for Mario to pop off and let Yoshi fall down into a pit.
No, the only thing it's missing is Mario punching Yoshi in the head whenever he wants him to eat something, which was canonically proven by Miyamoto. They asked him, he goes, oh yeah, he punches him in the head. What the hell? Next up, we know you're both big PlayStation fans, each of you owning a PlayStation, and I'm assuming it's a treasured memory from your childhood.
Yep.
Perhaps you'd like to relive those memories on the Polystation.
It's a
Watch out.
poly machine. Well, they don't have any bones about copying the PlayStation.
It's just not a game anymore, according to the speech bubble that the machine's talking about.
It's so cute. Like, it's so rounded. It looks like a lot of fun.
For me, I'd want it to be like a transforming Polly Pocket. So I'd want to open up the disc case and have little figurines inside.
Little
I'd want
parrot
the controllers to be a part of that world. I want it to be a toy inside a toy, like the old Mighty Max or something like that. But yeah.
My favourite part is that they've clearly tried to copy the Nintendo 64 box.
Yes, that's, yeah.
Polystation. So maybe one you can pick up and play, I don't know, with multiple people on. And following on from that, we've got another great little handheld console called Dr. Boy. Anto,
Dr. Boy.
show us the Dr. Boy.
Oh,
Crap, it has a gun.
Wow. Okay, so it's a 3-pack.
Yeah.
With a bootleg Game Boy. Looks like a PlayStation controller and a handgun.
the game
And it looks like a pretty realistic handgun.
There's no orange tip on that
No.
gun, so...
One
Anto?
or two players.
Can you read out the byline under Dr. Boy?
I can indeed. It says, play games on the street or at home on TV.
It's almost better than the Switch.
Wow.
So you got your Dr. Boy, you've got your Gameland gamepad, and something you could use to hold up a supermarket.
That's fantastic.
All right, and this is the one that I thought it was. Again, another Tiger handheld rip-off, little, lower-end video game, but we all loved them as kids. This one is called, and I quote, Overlord leaves his wife.
Gosh.
Wow.
You can see there the byline is online to hitting vivid game. I don't know what this is besides an Overlord leaving his wife.
It's also really interesting that it says under the price sticker, Street Overlord. So maybe it's a mashup of Street Fighter and other fighting game characters? Because I'm pretty sure...
So why is he leaving his wife?
I don't know.
That's lost in translation, I suspect.
It has to be.
Yeah.
It's from Alaska.
And why have you got a controller and a handheld, item as well with buttons
Maybe you
on
can
it?
plug the controller into the... In case you prefer that style
Maybe.
of holding it.
Yeah, it's a pretty small screen to
Wow.
have it too distant from you.
But there was a Tiger Street Fighter game.
Yep.
Yeah, that was
Yep.
rubbish. I've got it in there.
Right.
And finally, this is more of a fan bootleg. Now, we know the old Pokemon games were easily to be hack the ROMs and add different things. Like this thing's called Pokemon Black, where you play as a ghost.
Okay.
A ghost Pokemon. And after you finish the game, I can hear Anto chuckling. After you finish the game, the ghost comes back and kills you, and that's how the game ends. Instead of battling trainers and they lose, you battle trainers and you kill them. And when you come back to the main screen, there's a tombstone there.
Right.
Because you just wipe out the whole town. This one is a classic Pokemon hack called Pokemon My Arse Edition.
Oh.
Wow.
And I've got some footage there as well, Anto, of Pokemon My Arse. And there was the look at our show run. But in this game, it's... How do I put it?
I don't know if this is.
It's
in line
fine.
with
It's
the new-
fine. It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. Trust me, it's fine. It's fine. Roll the
Very
footage.
confident, Ben.
There we go. Pokemon. Now, the story here is that she's a naturalist, okay? So it's all above board. They're battling. For the podcast listeners, gym leader Erica is in the nude and has got a couple of black bars over her naughty bits.
Bit of Blue Lagoon factor.
Yes, indeed. I think that's where they got the idea from. And not horny teenage boys. So what do you think? Would Pokemon My Arse Edition be something you'd like to add to the collection?
Oh, gosh. No, thanks.
I'd say no.
No?
No.
Anto?
It could be shattering for the kids.
I mean, I don't know what's going on with my camera focus, but I already own Pokemon Vietnamese Crystal, which is notoriously badly translated.
It's great.
So this could be a funny addition to have if I started collecting bootlegs, but I'm probably not going to.
Pokemon My Arse. Words that you can live by. But we have been Hack the Dino. This has been our gaming cast. We do many, many things, but this isn't all we do. Ben and Trent, what else do you do? It's time to plug everything you want.
Well, that's pretty much it. Toy Power.
Yep.
Toy Power? You got an Instagram for Toy Power or a place where you show off your toys?
Toy Power Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, on I think we're on Twitter as well. Thanks, Trent, Frank. We're on all those social media outlets. You can find me at Shredder1982 on Instagram and FutureToid 32 for Trent on Instagram. So that's us in a nutshell. We're a weekly podcast. Come find us and enjoy some toy antics.
Toy antics. Trent?
That's pretty much it. Yeah, I don't do the socials, so they roll them off. But no, it's
You're a
good.
wise
There's some great toy. I just use Instagram, just looking at toy collections all day. But it's fantastic. So get some 80s and 90s toy goodness into your lives.
Anto, what do you have in your life?
Not as much toy goodness as you guys, but I do social media stuff for Hack the Dino, which Ben has been graciously taking over the last week or two. While I've been stressing and fixing the computer that we've successfully used this evening.
Woohoo!
Well done.
Oh my god. Outside of that, I've been streaming a lot more regularly on our channel. So I'm planning on doing it generally sort of weekdays, Wednesday to Friday-ish on the off week. I've got my personal Instagram, which is just at HeyIt'sAnto. It's private, so you have to follow me to actually look at it. I just put video game stuff up there every now and again. And yeah, other than that, not a whole lot personally.
Well, I also do a little thing on Instagram. Usually you can find all my stuff at Mr. Benjamin, which is basically an insurance record of all my video game things. But for fun, I quite often do a little thing called Bad Game Arts with an S, where I find
yes, that Akuma. It's that I got that box when I bought Street Fighter 2 Turbo, and I got it from John Martin's, and it's atrocious.
It's awful.
The box art is the. I've still got it. If you want it,
Hell
you can
yes.
have it.
Hell
add
yes.
to your collection. So there you go.
It's
It's
amazing.
so bad.
Oh, and like the best part is you look at Cammy and like they've put her in such a way her spine would have snapped in half.
Yep.
It's awful. But all the bad game art from video games history. So we can see
Wow.
there, lately we've been looking at Kickmaster, where you have to break your ankle in order to be a good Kickmaster. We've got Smart Ball there, and he's not a ball.
It's more of a
It's a
frisbee.
discus.
Yeah.
You're going against the basic concept here.
Easy.
Next across, we've got, what have we got there, Anto? Ah, yes, Wolfenstein 3D, when you're